Welcome in, Esperians, to the Esperia Chronicles. I'm your host, DangerGrey, and today I am not an endgame. Well, I am an endgame guild leader and a free player and these things, but today I am foremost a historian, a lore keeper of sorts, and I bring to you the story of the Wilders. Because there was a post put up yesterday by our beloved, if perhaps at times misguided game designers, where they talked about it purported to show information about the Wilders, but it didn't really. It didn't say anything about the Wilders, and in fact, it made up a few things I think that the author of that post made up rather than actually things about the Wilders. So I thought maybe for anyone that felt like they kind of got gypped by that we would actually do the history of the Wilders today for all you guys. So that's what we're doing. Let me put out this link right now for everybody now that we are live, and I'm ready to jump right into it for you guys. So the art, I should say right now, that the art from the thumbnail is by my good friend, one of our fans and a friend of the stream here, Eomir Lover, or a very silly Pluxarian, I believe. When I get a better artist name for him, whatever he would like, I will share it. Or we'll find out. I'm not sure if he wants me to be sharing all of his art or not. It is available on the DangerGrey Discord. However, if you'd like to see it, there's many more images. He's, I think, a really talented artist, and he does these really fun, like, well, you can see it on the thumbnail. He does like a fun. To me, it's got almost like a. It's silly. It's satire for sure in a way, but like with a joy about it. It's almost like a. To me, it kind of looks like if Family Guy drew the Journey characters. It's got like a Family Guy feel to the silliness, although it's more detailed, better drawing, I would say, than the Family Guy drawings. But it's got that cool cartoon vibe. So I hope you guys see it and like it. And afterwards, when you're watching this as a video, there's already going to be a link down below to his other stuff if he's kind enough to share one with me. Or, you know, or not. But join the DangerGrey Discord where you can find his artwork and more. We've got a section for... I have two sections in the Discord. One is called Fan Art You Made, and the other one's called Fan Art You Didn't. So if you find fan art of Journey or AFK Arena, as we're also going to be covering today, there's lots of AFK Arena all over my streams for lore, because that's where the basis for all the Journey lore comes from, of course, is AFK Arena, where I've been playing for 4.5 years and have always been kept along by the lore. It was the lore that kept me wanting to play. I love the stories of the game. It didn't have a linear story, which is why Journey is so great, because Journey gives us that immersion into the world and linear storytelling that we've always craved as fans of the AFK Arena work, which is always... each character has their own story, and you hear these stories of the world, but we didn't actually get to ourselves be in it. So that's why Journey has been such a real treasure for fans of Esperia. And I think we are ready to go. I don't want to go without everybody, though. Here, there's the link. All right. Oh, we got to go up on Twitch, of course. Poor Twitch. Hey, Rage, Christina, how are you guys? Nice to see you. Let me get Twitch fired off here. Start. Yes. Aha. Sweet. All right. Oh, good. He reacted to it. Oh, good. He, Eomir Lover, our artist for the day, is, I think, is pleased with it. I thought he'd like it. He sent me these yesterday, and I couldn't help it. So the link is in the description for this right now already, down at the bottom to the DangerGrey Discord. And if you're on Twitch, you can actually just type, let me see, you just type, I'll do it right now. We do exclamation Discord, I think. Yeah, there we go. There's a link to it. So, and we are, yep. All right. And we're off. So I think we should start. I think we should start with the book today, and then we'll get into some of the in-game lore. I want to do Lorsan's backstory today. I don't think we've done that one on the show, which is crazy because he's obviously our mascot around here. And that was a suggestion by Eomir Lover, I believe, or he asked certainly to see more of Lorsan. So let me get this turned to the right page. And we'll also get, yeah, maybe there's the game. Okay, cool. I wonder, yeah, I may leave it that way. I may leave it that way for today. But let's get me off while I read. And get Khazard up here. Are you here, Eomir Lover? I'm so glad that you like what I threw together there. I thought you would. I thought I knew. I reached out to ask if you were okay with it, but I was pretty sure I knew you well enough that you. I'm glad. I'm glad you like it. Let me see. Something told me it had too many emojis when I posted the link on the lore section of AFK Journey. It said too many emojis, but I don't think it took it down. No, it looks like it took it up. Okay. Too many emojis? There's never too many emojis. Come on. Nonsense. All right, my friends. The Wilder faction. So, as we know, or maybe perhaps many of you don't, the Wilders originated as the Ya. So the Ya was a term for the animal people that were created during the Age of Arcana when humans were gifted magic by Dura. Dura gave humans the gift of magic. Why is convoluted, is complex and doesn't really matter, but she gave the humans the gifts of magic. She took pity on humans and thought that they should have magic, and when they denied humans magic, they ended up worshipping Hypogeans, basically, and the gods hated that even more. So Dura was like, see, I told you we should let them use magic. So she taught them magic, and the gods said, okay, you can teach them magic, but not those ones who learned magic from a Hypogean. They and their ancestors need to be banished forever. And so the like hundreds of years of civilization were just deleted and never allowed to thrive again because the Celestials hold a grudge so badly. Like their grandkids had anything to do with it. Or their great-great-grandkids. But she taught humans magic, and in teaching humans magic, they nearly took over the whole world. The gods may have been right that humans couldn't handle magic, and they tricked humans into thinking they could reach immortality by telling them that they could create immortality using invigorating essence, which is purple dust. So the purple dust that we all crave, that we are always going apeshit to get that dust. You got to get that dust, got to get that level, got to make that resonating crystal pop 10 levels higher. They were doing the same thing and creating animal people in the process. They were doing weird experiments to try and find immortality. They had been lied to. It was not possible, but they didn't know this. So they got weirder and weirder with the experiments and created a series of animal people, which were just gene spliced humans. And my dogs might go apeshit in a minute. They object to this, the splicing. Okay, so they are gene splicing humans, and eventually the humans were outcast because people don't like things that are weird or different from them. And they sent all, I know, right? The dust was addictive. Absolutely. So they sent them all away, and as the humans wandered around, the human animal people, they ended up splitting into two groups. I mean, I could talk about it all day, right? But so to get to the Wilders, and in fact, I will talk about it all day in the World History 2, which will actually be out this week. It really is basically done. I really am releasing it this week. It's I had a goal to get it out before August, and I think we're gonna see that goal finished. And if not, we'll certainly see it before the wider release, which is August 8th. If you guys don't know, the game is releasing internationally on August 8th in Japan and some other places that it's not out yet. So the World History, Journey History Part 2, World History, will be out this week, and you get all of that in detail. But so they split off into two groups, which becomes the Maulers and the Wilders eventually. And so when they break off into the Maulers, and there's a bunch of Ya who want to attack humans and fight back and, you know, punish them for what they've done. And then there's also a lot that are agitated at each other because they've been mixed with carnivorous creatures and wild animals. And so these impulses stayed with them, which is why we have the Maulers and their, you know, Mauler martial ways, right? Like martial, as in militaristic, or more like not militaristic combat, or it's martial. You look it up. We have martial levels in AFK Arena. Actually, it's the name for the odd leveling system that they use for Abyssal Expedition and other things. It's like the reduced levels. So right? And yeah, it's very cool, Triv. I totally agree. He said, I love when games make you part of the story through mechanics. Absolutely. So the portion of the humans that had been mixed with herbivorous creatures, the more tame and passive animals, didn't like all the humans that had been mixed with the kind of rowdy animals. And they decided that they didn't want to warmonger. They weren't interested in the violence, and they broke off and set off kind of like a wandering people, you know, like the Old Testament, like Jews wandering through the desert kind of a thing, truly. And eventually this group of more pacifist Ya find themselves at they reached the edge, sort of the edge of the desert area, and a doe appeared to them. And it was Dura in doe form. And she sort of like created in that moment the Dark Forest. She created it for the wilder people who had traveled. I think it says 100 days. I could be wrong, but I believe that's actually what's written here. And she created the Dark Forest for these people that had been outcast from human civilization and then had left of their own accord from the animal people civilization that wasn't for them either. And she created the Dark Forest so that they would have a safe place to be. And not only did she create the Dark Forest, but the Dark Forest exists in a spell that hides and conceals its existence, or at least its entryways, from those who would wish to do it harm, so that they are safely hidden inside this, basically like a magic bubble kind of a thing. Think like Dalaran from Warcraft. So the Dark Forest exists in this safety bubble that Dura gave it. And there they were able to find peace. So she literally created the Dark Forest. There's a word that I want, but I'm not coming up with it. Conjured, I think maybe. And she said it should be, and so it was. So that is the creation of the Dark Forest. That gives you just a bit of backstory leading up to who the Wilders are, and now we'll get into the reading on them as I said. So we're gonna jump into AFK Arena art book, the official book, part 1. What are we doing? What's all that? Where did music come from? All right. The Wilders represent perhaps the faction most blessed by Dura, for they live in the Dark Forest, a refuge built for them by Dura herself. Away from the mundane, the Dark Forest perpetually emanates a wild, primordial energy. Having no desire for the worldly, the Wilders have formed a blood-like affinity with nature. They keep their distance from the other factions, for they deem it their duty to protect the land on which they inhabit. Oh, it looks like there's a, here, we'll read this. That was my summary for you, but it looks like there's a little summary here in the Wilder section too. Mortal alchemy is an indelible stain on human history, lasting as proof of humanity's hubris and insolence. Anai, the god of death, was the architect of the great lie devised to fool and ultimately induce avaricious and insatiable humanity to sow and thence reap the seeds of their own suffering. Now, they're going to blame Anai here, but that is absolutely not fair or true, in the sense that the Celestials were beside themselves, not knowing what to do. They were looking for a way to handle humanity, to get them in check, because humanity had become so powerful, as I said, that they were literally had tamed dragons, which heretofore had only been their own world power, separate from humanity and separate from the Celestials. And humans had tamed dragons and were riding them in combat against the Celestials, using the Draconic tongue as a way to it's part of they're part of the origins of Esperian magic is Draconic tongue. Hey Bama, nice to see you. So Celestials were so concerned by humanity that they were out of ideas, and Anai said he had one, and it was more to ingratiate himself to the Celestials than any kind of animus at humanity. He actually had none, and in fact, there are stories of him sort of being a supporter of humanity. Anai is pictured here, by the way. This is Anai and Dura in the center of the screen. That's who they are. Or at least a representation of them. But this is Anai and Dura reaching out for one another, life and death in Esperia. And so he, you know, having been an outcast and trying to ingratiate himself to the Celestials, said, well, I think I know how you could stop them. And so he's painted in all the writings as like Anai did this to humanity and it was so evil, but he didn't. I mean, at absolute worst case, he was simply the murder for hire guy, the guy that got hired to do it. I mean, it really wasn't his gig. He had nothing against humanity. So I gotta step in for my boy and clarify some of that. Okay, but back to it. The Ya, transformed by such vile human alchemy, suffered the most from Anai's deception. Countless species of Ya were created during centuries of humanity's frenzied obsession with mortal alchemy. Unfortunately, human nature had always been to reject the unfamiliar, and the Ya, appearing seemingly out of nowhere, were nothing more than freaks and monsters to human eyes. Panic spread, and with some regions even erupting into riots, the Ya were ostracized and forced out. To calm the chaos and restore order, the ruling elite mages had to partition off a territory far away from human civilization for the Ya. They called it resettlement, but in truth it was banishment, exiling the Ya into an even more wretched situation. The barren land into which the Ya were resettled is known today as the Scorched Expanse. There they were forced to endure a scarcity of resources and harsh weather, as well as a multitude of ravenous beasts and evil monsters. The conditions were cruel and unforgiving, yet still the Ya continued their struggle to survive. Humanity was unable to see through the veil of Anai's lies despite the frequent failures of mortal alchemy's experiments. Somehow, all the panic and commotion surrounding the Ya also failed to awaken humanity to the truth. Instead of rejecting the lunacy, the elite mages redoubled their efforts to create more and more Ya. Failure only spurred them to greater efforts, as further away from understanding the mysteries of immortality as they were, the more obsessed and fanatical they became. Their deplorable actions would ultimately be the catalyst for protracted civil strife among all mortals. As more innocents were fused into Ya, their conflict with humanity became even more acrimonious. Those who had been exiled began to wage a war of resistance against humanity's tyranny and oppression. And so on and so on. As the conflict escalated, further mortals were drawn in until the whole continent was consumed by the flames of war. Yeah, okay. And, here we go. Not all Ya, however, were willing to play a role in this merciless war. Due to the fusion of invigorating essence, that's purple dust, y'all, from distinct species, different Ya and their descendants therefore possessed physical characteristics and temperaments unique to each fused species. Typically, those fused with invigorating essence from predatory animals were courageous and fiercely aggressive, while those fused with herbivorous creatures were gentle, friendly, and non-confrontational. Here we go. The latter were reluctant to make an enemy of humanity, eager instead to simply find a place of peace in a world upended by war. Ultimately, Dura heard and heeded their pleas. As the god of life, it was Dura's fundamental duty to shelter the living. Thus, she sent an oracle to guide these Ya and help them find sanctuary in a distant refuge. The one to whom the oracle appeared was a Ya named Widus. It came to him while he was dreaming, taking the form of a doe walking purposefully eastward. Widus felt compelled to follow as if pulled by some magical force. The passage of time in the ephemeral dream world is imperceptible, so Widus was unsure of how long he walked. Perhaps it was a year, perhaps only a moment, But finally, he caught sight of a lush, wonderland-like forest emerging from the mist on the eastern horizon. Before him stood the doe, who turned and spoke to him, her voice soft and loving. She bade him gather all those Yah who were unwilling to facilitate war and lead them to this place. When Widus awoke, he was amazed to find that the route he had taken in his dream was clearly etched in his mind, as if he had traveled it countless times before. He implicitly understood the instructions in his dream to be a manifestation of divine will, so he embarked on a decade-long mission to convince and assemble all the pacifist Yah. Wow. I've never heard that before, that it took a decade. My goodness. Finally, they departed, with Widus leading them on the path he remembered so clearly. They set out from the scorched expanse, trekking all the way to the far east over mountains and rivers. After a grueling journey lasting over 100 days, there it is, the Yah finally arrived at the place Widus had visited in his dream. There they encountered Dura, disguised as the doe, and discovered the dark forest, brought into being through her divine power and love for the wilder folk. These Yah have made their home in the dark forest from that day forth. To ensure they had the means to protect themselves, Dura also imbued their bloodlines with the very power of nature itself. This gave them an intrinsic affinity to fundamental elements in the wilds, allowing them to easily harness and manipulate natural magic. To show their appreciation for the divine blessings they received, these Yah began to call themselves the Wilders. To help the Wilders overcome the trauma of war and stay removed from any further fighting, Dura wrought a barrier of natural magic around the dark forest. This was a barrier of thick mist, a miasma, infested with phantasms and illusions that never waned. Any living being not from the wilder bloodlines who attempted to penetrate the mist would be confounded by the magic and become hopelessly lost. I love that. Isn't that cool magic? When they first settled in the dark forest, the Wilders did not form a politically cohesive union. Instead, they lived, worked, and thrived in a loosely knit society. Life continued in this way for hundreds of years. Even though these pioneer Wilders who migrated with Widus had long since passed away, their descendants always remembered Dura's benevolence. One moment. Oh, it's already up for you guys. Whoops. I didn't know it was up. My bad. I was going to take us to the dark forest. I guess you guys can see that. Yeah, here. We're in the dark forest. I wanted to go to like just really anywhere, I suppose. But just like go chill at a cabin or hey, look, there's a doe. Perfect, right? And we'll go with yeah. Oops. Did not mean to do that. I want to go elsewhere with this quest on. Or were we just? Yeah, there they are. love traveling with Lorsan and Leica. I kept this quest. I haven't finished it because it lets me have them out whenever. As such. Okay. What's this about a gingerbread goddess rage? What are you talking about? What you talking about? All right. Oh, I got a link from CJ, our artist for today. Let me paste it. So this is his YouTube, I suppose. He's the artist of the thumbnail image that we're using today, and I imagine a few in the future too. It's great. He's got Eomir in this kind of dress thing, and then Lorsan in some kind of, well, you can see it. It's great. Lorsan in like a almost like I don't know, like, what do you call that? Like a petticoat or something. All right. So let's go into well, let's do a little more wilder background lore, and then we'll do the Lorsan backstory. I think I want to do here pretty soon, but we'll keep going with some Dark Forest stuff first. Okay. So, we were just saying that even those pioneer wilders who migrated with Widus, even though they had long ago passed away, their descendants always remembered Dura's benevolence. Generation after generation, their respect and gratitude to Dura never waned. Over the centuries, the wilders' gentle and kind nature allowed them to befriend the myriad strange animals and mystical spirits which inhabited the dark forest. Their special bloodline had also bestowed them with a strong affinity for the natural elements, so they were able to create a spiritual bond with the elemental creatures that wandered the forest. Hundreds of years later, the Hypogeans appeared, bringing with them destruction and disaster to the entire world. Despite hitherto being shielded from the worst horrors of war by the dark forest, some of the wiser wilders were nonetheless concerned. These astute ones, later known as the Oak Sages, which we have heard some of recent, of course. We know that in current times in the Journey world, there are 3 Oak Sages. Of course, those are Arden, Granny Donnie, and Eomir. These astute wilders, later known as the Oak Sages, were adamant, although I don't know if these would be the same ones, although they have lived for so long that they may very well be. Well, I'm sure we'll track down that knowledge over the course of our episode, our Esperia Chronicles here. I would love to eventually pin down exactly how old Arden is. One day. My boy Arden. Love him. Love this man. Where is this man? Let's get him up here while we're reading more. Here we go. Look at this guy. Love him so much, I got him paragoned as a free player. That's love. Hypogeans, these astute wilders, later known as the Oak Sages, were adamant that if Hypogeans were permitted to continue wreaking havoc, eventually the Dark Forest would be crushed by their demonic hordes. The Wilders could lose everything they had so painstakingly strived for, so the Wise Ones began to urge their people to proactively repel the Hypogeans. However, their pacifist nature meant that most Wilders were reluctant to involve themselves in war at all, having long since become accustomed to living quiet, peaceful lives. Moreover, their ancestors had come to this forest precisely to avoid war. So why, in Dura's name, would they now choose to abandon their hard-won paradise and voluntarily seek out such chaos and destruction? The pleas of the sages fell largely on deaf ears. However, and pacifism remained the will of the Wilders. It remained this way until the Wilders learned that Dura herself was leading the other mortal races. On the front lines of the fight, she was leading them against the Hypogeans. Suddenly, no one could pretend that this was not a life-or-death struggle for the entire continent, one the Wilders would not be able to avoid forever. And again, all of that, the whole story of the world history of Esperia will be out this week on my channel. It'll be called Part 2 of the Journey Lore Series, Esperian World History or something like that. And it's the entire history of from the very beginning up until where we are now, and it is 19 minutes of jam-packed with I've been working on the visuals for a long time now, and also it took a long time to edit it down because it was like, I don't know, it was over an hour, but I've rewritten it and reworked it and reworked it and rewritten it, and what you finally get it this week. So they finally realized that they were going to have to fight the Hypogeans in the first Hypogean War, which is, of course, the Bard Gate situation, which you'll hear me talk about sometimes. And so the Wilders united as one around the Sages, ending a centuries-old tribal society to become a unified force. Incorporating their animal and elemental allies into the ranks, they departed their Dark Forest home and marched for the front lines in support of Dura. Reminds me of Lord of the Rings, guys, right? When, like, all the different races around the world start showing up and against Mordor, you know, like in the end battle of Return of the King, when the different armies, like, show up on the horizons, and it makes me think of that. This is really cool. I love it. Oh, I could see him being buff. Yeah, totally. I mean, this old man is ripped. This old man can take a punch, like, right in the stomach. I've seen him do it. He does his whole, like, hit me, you know, hit me. What is that? A tickle? Hit me hard. Absolutely. This old goat's been around a long time. The Bard Gate? Yeah, hey, could be. Probably you heard it as that because it's literally the same thing. Linguistically, the Bard Gate and the Bard Gate are pronounced the same. That would be why you heard that. Phonetically, the phonology there. Linguistics major, hi. The phonology would be the same on the pronunciation. I used to be able to read IPA. International Phonetic Alphabet. Useful for accents in acting, actually. And so the Wilders united around the Sages, enduring, right, marched for the front lines in support of Dura. In the end, through the joint efforts of gods and mortals alike, the war was won, and the Hypogeans were sealed behind the Bard Gate. B-A-R-R-E-D. Yes, Triv. The Wilders returned to their dark forest, and their union has held fast to this very day. The governing bodies of the Wilders. Okay, now it gets fun. Mistletoe, the Mistletoe Council. The mistletoe is considered sacred to the Wilders. The legendary goddess Dura, long since departed, would take many different forms when communicating with mortals. To humans, she would appear as a benevolent mother, enveloped in holy light. To the Wilders, however, she was a deer, adorned with mistletoe. Is that what that is? Their ancient legends attest how millennia ago, their ancestors first came to this land after a long journey following Dura's oracle. Upon arrival, the goddess appeared in the form of a doe wreathed in mistletoe. Bowing her splendid head, the mistletoe fell to the ground, whence it spread rapidly across the land with flowers blooming as it went. And wherever it spread, so a vibrant, dusky forest grew to serve as the Wilders' new home. Oh, beautiful. That's how the Dark Forest was made, you guys. When they met her, the goddess appeared in the form of a doe wreathed in mistletoe. As she bowed her head, the mistletoe fell to the ground, and whence it spread rapidly across the land. And wherever it spread, so a vibrant, dusky forest grew to serve as the Wilders' new home. As with all oral histories, no one can be certain of this fable's authenticity. Nonetheless, be it myth or fact, mistletoe has remained a symbol of hope and life for the Wilders. A sacred plant, dear to the hearts of all who called the Dark Forest home. At the founding of the Wilder Alliance, to commemorate the favor of Dura, the Wilder elders founded the Mistletoe Council as the religious and political center of the agreement. Mistletoe can still be found everywhere in the forest, creeping up the trunks of oak trees. Being thus endowed with so potent a symbol of Dura, Wilders consider the oak tree to represent wisdom. Therefore, the wise ones who created the Mistletoe Council are known as the Oak Sages. I wonder if I gotta sit down and talk to the person who wrote this Misarte thing, because I wonder if they even know all of this, or maybe I wonder if they would be down with like a, you could probably avoid the retcon by having Misarte be like a modern version of Dura. Like it's something that they have started to call Dura, but really it's the goddess Dura, but the Wilders have forgotten who Dura even was. They just call her Misarte now. Something like that. You could totally avoid like major unnecessary retcon by explaining it that way. Just a thought. The Wilder Council. The Wilder Council is a decision-making body within the Mistletoe Council, led by the wisest Oak Sages. As the spiritual leaders of the Wilders, successive generations of Oak Sages are chosen for their incredible wisdom and noble character. They must possess rich knowledge and be an expert on everything to do with the forest. They guide the development of the Wilders with each of their decisions, fundamental to the survival of the Wilders, as the result of deep and careful deliberation by members of this council. This forum, the entirety of the Wilders' political lifeblood, is built atop an ancient, majestic old oak tree. Here, the sages assemble every day to debate, discuss, and exchange wisdom and insight. Now, we move to everybody's favorite. I wish I could go straight to him, but I cannot. We could go to Brian, I suppose. But it's time to hear of the Wind Whisperers. Let us go to Brian.
Well, just in time.
Yeah, I agree, Triv. I think Miss Arte is Dura in disguise. I think the same thing. The Whispers of the Wind. The Whisperers of the Wind, or simply Whisperers, is an intelligence organization under the direction of the Mistletoe Council. The Whisperers are able to enter a meditative state in which they can detect the minutest of sounds carried on the wind from all corners of the world. Whisperers are proficient in natural spells, particularly elemental wind magic. Born with extremely acute senses, their bond with nature is especially deep. Through only the ebbs and flows of wind currents are they able to detect even the most minute rhythms of nature, picking out voices and sounds carried from afar. As long as the wind blows, all sound will eventually reach their waiting ears, even if they be 10,000 miles distant. Oh, so cool. As such, although they live deep in seclusion, the Whisperers possess a considerable understanding of the wider world without ever setting foot outside their jungle home. They are even able to communicate with each other over long distances, solely through the medium of wind. This unique network of windborne intelligence is also far more efficient and secure than conventional methods such as letters. The Whisperers occupy the same ancient oak tree as the Wilder Council, residing directly beneath the council hall. Downstairs. Whenever the Whisperers glean important information, they report it directly to the Oak Sages, thus allowing them to act rapidly on any new intelligence. We turn now to the Dusk Patrollers. Haha. Good morning, Laika.
Oh, good morning.
How are you?
Today we fight together once more.
Aw. Her deer looks happies.
Ticklish? It's all right. Today we fight together once more.
The Dusk Patrollers. After the First Hypogean War ended, the Wilder Alliance forces disbanded immediately upon returning to the Dark Forest, and most of the Wilder soldiers returned to their original peaceful life. However, the war had forever embedded the potential necessity of a fighting force within the collective Wilder consciousness. So they preserved and maintained a small military division to safeguard the Dark Forest. This small concession continued for thousands of years, until the Oak Sages read the omens and had a premonition that the Hypogeans might soon break free from their barred gate. Aware that their then current military strength would be insufficient to handle the Hypogeans' return, they decided to establish an elite military corps, the Dusk Patrollers. This unit was tasked with patrolling the border of the forest, guarding against all foreign aggression, and serving as the Dark Forest's first line of defense should the Hypogeans return. The Dusk Patrollers' commander, Laika, is considered as the Chosen. Legend has it that Dura bore many divine children, and these embodiments of the Celestial would be known as the Astral Souls. Laika was favored by one such entity, an astral soul which could take the form of a doe like her mother, Dura. Having grown fond of Laika from afar, she designs to act as Laika's mount, fighting alongside Leica and the Dusk Patrollers. Whoa. Hold on. Didn't know that. So an astral soul is a child of Dura, it says. So Leica was favored by one such entity, an astral soul which could take the form of a doe like her mother, Dura. So it's a female astral soul that is her doe. That is so freaking cool. This Whisper network can't be hacked, unlike other systems. Looking at you, official AFK Journey Discord. Oh my gosh, that's so tragic too, isn't it? Like, why someone gotta go in there and delete things like the lore channel and shit? Like, what anger do you have in you that, I mean, it's so, so shitty. Like, what did AFK Journey do? Well, I don't want to underestimate the ways that AFK Journey can drive people insane. Let's not let's not downplay that, but I may even know a person who has gone apeshit on the AFK Journey Discord at some point, or perhaps it was AFK Arena. Who's to say? And yeah. I wouldn't even. Yes, Leica is secretly OP. That's true. In the Journey world, it would be secret. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think it's too secret, but I suppose in Journey world it is, because she's not particularly. I know they can hear things 10,000 miles away, but Brian, well, you know why? Because he had got his sight back, right? And he wasn't used to it. He wasn't used to having his sight back. That's why he got his whole party killed. Is because he was seeing again. And that he ended up losing his confidence in his hearing ability. And yeah, brother got his whole, what do you call, I can't think of, like, squadron. He got his whole squadron shot. Punched full of holes. All right, the Twilight Scouts. We should pull up some AFK Arena now to begin showing some of these wonderful characters. Shadow Merrily. Oh gosh, let me get rid of that. Whoops, sorry guys. There we go. Yikes. Pull up AFK Arena here. There it is. Okay, much better. I think I want to go where there's like little cabins and stuff. Maybe I forget you can do that. How isn't that one of the coolest parts of this game that you can just like do this? I think it's so neat. You can just and then oh no, that's not it. We'll go over here. Oh, what's this look like? Oh, okay, we're right there. So cool. Actually, that's pretty close to what I was looking for. Yeah, sure, that'll work. No, wait. We're like... Those are like tents. I wanted like the cool like cabins. There's some good ones, you know? Might be later on. Might be over here. Well... All right, another. Oh, there. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Yes. Oh, come on. There's trees. Oh my lord, no. Come on. Oh. Forget it. Here, maybe. Nope. Oh my goodness. Come on. Nope. Oh well. Come on, Lorsan. Stop standing on top of each other, guys. All right. All right, whatever. It's fine. So we're learning about the Twilight Scouts next. So the Twilight Scouts would be Kaz, for example. Hand of the Wood. We should turn off the... We're on 6x. There we go. Yes, Rage, I'm looking for a holiday home indeed. Yeah. Why, do you know one? Do you know a good one? Like, come on, man. There we go. Lorsan. Hey. The Twilight Scouts. The Twilight Scouts are an exclusive unit within the Dusk Patrollers, a special force composed of elite rangers and assassins. They excel at stealth, investigation, and tracking, and infiltration, making them the first choice for more unconventional or clandestine assignments. The Twilight Scouts have often played a pivotal role in the Wilders' foreign engagements, with their ability to slip behind enemy lines and sabotage critical enemy resources, turning the tide of many key battles. As such, they are valued more for their tactical capabilities than their combat prowess, and often sent on special assignments. This is Kaz, and who else? I believe Ira. Yeah. Ira. Killing it with the knock knees. Look at this chick. Woohoo! It's actually really cool, that animation. Man, we should get Ira in game. Ira is super dope, huh? Gosh, I've never thought about it, guys. Ira would be a really cool character to get, huh? Wow. That would be really fun. Ira as a hero? I'm sure I'm not the first person to suggest it. I'm sure there's Ira fans out there. In fact, I think I've heard people suggest it. But we've already got, I mean, you know... In fact, are the Wilders the only faction that doesn't have a food hero that's in the game? Because we've got Muriel is a food hero in AFK Arena. Food heroes are like acorns. You use them to upgrade other heroes. So Muriel and Hogan. Oh, let me turn down the tunes.
I shall not falter.
Yeah, there we go.
I shall not falter. To battle.
Hogan. And man, Angelo would be cool.
Begins.
I'd be so happy if we brought Angelo in. I really would. That'd be really rad.
Be the flame, not the moth.
He was my first character that I got when I first got the game, and I really liked him, and I tried to use him as my healer for like way too long.
Love me, hate me, you're all out of tune.
Wait,
Be the flame.
Bama, you said that yesterday, didn't you?
Be the flame. Be the flame.
The love me, hate me thing.
Be the
Oh my gosh.
Be the you're all be love me.
Oh, there it was!
Love me, hate me. Both are in my favor.
There it is. Very cool quote, man. All right, so the light bearers have Muriel, right? And then I guess Maulers don't have a food hero that's in game either. That would be cool too, man. Savius would be my vote. Oh, that'd be cool. And of course, duh, I'm an idiot because Arden is a food hero. I always think of him as a real hero, but he's technically a food hero. You could use him. He was like the only actually, well, I guess Savius had some purpose. I don't think of Arden as a food hero, but he was. Arden's a food hero too. He is.
Every heartbeat.
We did Arden's story.
Rain, thunder.
So we did Arden's story 3 weeks ago, maybe, when I did the Almus story. We did Almus and Tassi, and I covered Arden quite a bit, quite extensively there. If you want to hear more about Arden on my YouTube, there's a really great version of Atheus's story in which Arden's a major player. He's a recent addition. And of course, the Graveborns have both Sylvina and Niru are food heroes. She's epic.
Death comes your way.
I am stronger in death than in life. Death calls on us all.
So cool. All right. The Forest Hunters. If the Twilight Scouts are the special forces, then the Forest Hunters make up the Dusk Patrollers' main standing army. Where are some common heroes? Common heroes are even more legit. Wait, where's... I don't have any right now because you automatically can turn them into dust or whatever. Let's see. Rickety cart. Got any? No? Oh, I know how to find him. Hold on. Portraits. Here we go. Yeah. Aletha. They are the core infantry regiments, resolute, fearless, and always decisive in taking bold actions. In times of peace, the forest hunters are responsible for law enforcement and security for the Dark Forest, while in times of war, they are the first to charge onto the battlefield and the last to leave. The leader of the forest hunters, Elvi, is an excellent archer whose enthusiasm and humility earned him the love and respect of all under his command. The Sunset Hall. And again, we're going through the different factions of the Wilders. Yeah, Ankira would be mine too. I agree about Ankira, to be honest with you. I'd rather see the Arakans in the game. That would just be... Oh, I can't believe they didn't do it with this most recent, with the Mauler expansion. It's really... They need me on their team. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So... The Sunset Hall is where ferocious Wilder warriors go to train. So when we're talking about the Sunset Hall, we're talking about, like, Saurus.
I am here for you.
Yeah. We're talking about Saurus.
It is a time eternal. I promise.
Thank you, Rage.
The
Look.
battle is won, but the war is not.
I knew there was a good one in Dark Forest 5.
It is a good day to die.
Whoa!
It is a time to end this.
$376, $267.
I promise. It is a good day to die.
Wait, that's what I was looking for, was the lake house, but I don't know how to find a location. I don't know how to track that down.
Evil things are not welcome here.
How do I, like, go to a...
It is a good day.
I don't know how to... Yeah. I don't know.
It is a good day to die.
Okay, here's my location. So 267, 376, 260. I'm close. Yeah.
It is a time to end this.
Which one did you mean? Did you mean over here? Like this place?
Evil things are not welcome here.
But when I'm walking, it's going up, isn't it? Those those numbers are going.
Evil
Hold on.
things are not welcome here.
Oh no, they're going down.
The battle is won.
South of the bridge.
The war.
So like over here. Oh, this one's cute. Talking about this? Yeah, that's a cute place. I like that place. Yeah. Hey, there's deers everywheres. Oops. How do I get over there? I think I go over here. Yeah. Okay. Sure, this is lovely enough. This is plenty lovely. Like get off Lorsan's nuts, dude. Come on, man. Jeez. There we go. Solid. Oh yeah, it's a huge missed potential. The fact that there were so many spiders in the Mauler story and they didn't make the spider people that are part of the Mauler faction or even mention them is like a yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Bay. New like since got it. Thank you. Good stuff, man. Yeah, they're both perfect for Analytica. Thank you so much, Bay. That's really good. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. Just guild leading for a hot second. Never stops, does it? It really doesn't. Nor should it. Okay. All right, we're good. And real quick, while I finish sending this guy this last one, let's just run this real quick. Perfect timing. And we're back. Yeah, Saurus as an Awoken Dragon would be really cool, wouldn't it? That's a great idea, Bama. Holy crap. Yeah, I never thought of that, Bama. That would be really cool. That'd be really cool. All right, all right. Back to it.
These flowers are for the eternal sufferers.
Hmm. 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 I see. Not enough to up it yet. Got it. Well, that's gonna bug me for a couple days. We better run down a couple of these in the meantime, because that's gonna drive me nuts. Having that exclamation there. Thanks for the follow, Rage. Appreciate you. And Journey freezes. So we're not meant to play through it while I do this then, apparently. We'll stick to the arena for now. That's fine. The Sunset Hall is the place where the fiercest Wilder fighters train in combat. Only those whose skills have been widely recognized are allowed to enter, and they are regarded as the pinnacle of Wilder combat prowess. Even these martial masters' outstanding skills can be further enhanced by the training they receive in this place. Entering with talent in battle as a functional skill, they leave as a virtuoso, who view combat as an art. Although the Wilders generally do not advocate violence, they still unanimously recognize the value of the Sunset Hall, and the ability to turn strong fighters into graceful bringers of death through a strict hierarchy and ranking system. Skilled warriors reside in the hall year-round, training those who seek true mastery with the sword or the bow. Many generals choose to return to the hall regularly to further perfect their skills and learn newly innovated techniques. The Bastion of the Elements can be found to the east of the Dark Forest. It is said that this was the starting point whence the creator god Honus began to fashion the world. All matter that makes up the whole planet is ultimately composed of elements that were produced here at the Bastion of the Elements. The air in the Bastion of the Elements is thick with elemental particles, which is why visiting elemental mages can harness and control natural forces such as wind, rain, lightning, plants, and rocks with half the effort compared to doing so anywhere else. This is also the genesis point and gathering place of the world's many elementals, half energy and half material creatures which come into being when sufficient energy meets enough of a single element. The Dreamwood. What up, Star Mouse? We are doing Wilder history today, brother. And yeah, Bema, that's cool. I'll help you out. Let me close both. Let me close this. Yeah. You're dual watching as I dual wield, as I multi-stream, dual wielding my streams. That's incredible. I've been a dual streamer, but never a dual watcher. Rage taking it to new levels. The Dreamwood is really cool. We actually read this during the Tossie episode 3 weeks ago, but I'll go ahead and read it again here. It's really neat. I love the Dreamwood. I can't tell you enough how cool the freaking Dreamwood is. The Dreamwood is a strange and mysterious section of the dark forest. In daylight, birds sing in the glorious sunshine as normal, but at night, the entire area turns into a fantastical, bizarre dreamscape, full of spontaneous illusions and magical occurrences. As the sun sets, the whole Dreamwood becomes shrouded in an ethereal glow. The very air shimmers as starlight refracts into sparkling fluorescence by a magical shroud, while gigantic mushrooms release clouds of glowing spores and countless colorful flowers shine brightly as they sway in the gentle evening breeze. Wilder scholars have concluded that the Dreamwood must somehow slip between the material plane and the dream world every night, as the laws of physics seem to be weakened and become malleable. This phenomenon allows those of strong enough will to alter their environment as if in a lucid dream, bending and changing reality in small ways. The strange fantastical occurrences of the Dreamwood attract many creatures, including some said to exist only in legends. Every night, these wondrous beings appear in the Dreamwood to sing and dance the night away, their voices mingling with the more prosaic croaking of frogs, hooting of owls, and chittering of bugs heard throughout the rest of the dark forest. Their singing is full of magical power, with some plants in the Dreamwood seeming to awaken in response. They can be observed to uproot themselves and move around, emitting a shimmering glow as they sway and dance to the Fae songs of the fairy. And so ends our specifically Wilder Factions section. But now let us move to some Wilder stories, as we begin with the story of Lorsan. This dancing boy. Look at this boy. Get this man a staff. Come on now. Just go. Sorry guys, one sec. Doing a thing IRL. I love you. Oh, sure, Bama. Yeah, let's do that real quick. He does that in game too, doesn't he? That thing where he floats like that. Yeah, I think he does that in Journey as well. It's awesome. Christina, I just saw what you saw or what you said. Yeah, they could have at least mentioned that they were a thing. They didn't even mention them, which really feels. They talked about spiders so much. It really feels. It was definitely very poorly done to not even mention the fact that they exist while you're talking all about spiders in Maulerland, and they didn't even mention Arakan. Like, come on, you know. Okay, here's Lorsan. He's playing with the thing. See him playing with the thing. I think he will end up laying down and floating. Maybe I'm imagining it though. I feel like Laika and he both end up sitting down at some point if you sit with him long enough.
The razor point will show that no step of practice can be missed.
Okay. Now, Lorsan's story. Thanks for your patience, friends. Okay, that's fair enough. That's over far enough. I'm good with it. Wow, look at him in all his glory. He does look really cool. Lorsan. Wind Whisperer. As a child, Lorsan yearned to know what was beyond the edges of the massive forest he called home. After thousands of years of habitation, most wilders prefer to stay nestled among the towering trunks, hidden safely away from the world in leaves and shade. The majority of them never leave the woods, content to remain where they are comfortable. Where the others found comfort, however, Lorsan lived with a growing pressure to wander and explore. It was as if the weight of all the trees was pressing against his back, propelling him to the outside. It made sense that he became a whisperer at a young age. While it is true that most wilders never leave the confines of their green haven, they are not entirely ignorant of the wider world. Nature doesn't stop where forest gives way to field, it simply changes form. The wind whisperers listen to the breezes that travel over the sea, mountain, and meadow, to gather news from far away, staying apprised of the outside world. Lorsan had been doing this throughout his childhood, when his talent was discovered by Arden. Under the old sage's tutelage, Lorsan quickly learned how to focus and direct his power. His talent was extraordinary, and soon he could draw so much from each gentle breeze that it was almost like he had traveled the wind's journey himself. Still, that wasn't enough for him. He was torn. He was compelled to explore. He put himself in the middle of strange lands, He was compelled to explore, to put himself in the middle of strange lands, but he had a responsibility to his people. He was one of the most talented whisperers, and if he was away, his talents would only benefit himself. All of the sensations and insights the wind carried to him only made his wanderlust grow. He began to become truly discontent, and then eventually despondent at his circumstances. Arden took notice and told him a good whisperer should listen not only to the wind, but also to his own heart. He gifted the young whisperer with a staff, and left him with a kind word. A brief farewell was scratched out on a bit of parchment, provisions were gathered, and by the morning, Lorsan had gone. It was time to see firsthand what the wind had hinted at. Lorsan was going outside. What can you tell me that the wind hasn't already? Nice. Short and sweet. Now, we're going to do another character story here. Right. Yeah, it's really it's like that guy in your class who's 6'10" and everyone knows he's going to be an NBA player. That was Lorsan with the ears and wind whispering. Totally agree, Rage. Have we done Leica's story? I can't remember if we did hers or not. I certainly feel like it would be a good time to do so. I say sure, why not?
Another victory to my name. Oh, good morning. Today, we fight together once more.
I am the prophecy. I fight for the forest. I am the prophecy.
Keeper of the Glades. When the sages of the forest chose Leica to take on the role of First Ranger in the Dusk Watch, it left many people puzzled. Everyone had expected someone older, stronger, more experienced in a fight. When it came to blade and bow, Leica wasn't even a contender for the most capable. The people couldn't imagine why she had been selected. Despite their initial misgivings, they placed a great deal of trust in the sages, and knew that there must be something special about her that set her above the rest. Understandably, everyone wanted to meet and get to know the new First Ranger, and it didn't take long thereafter for them to understand what about Leica made her so qualified for the position. She possessed an uncanny proficiency for unearthing the hidden talents and abilities that lay dormant in others, and bringing them out into the light to grow and develop. What an incredibly important thing for a leader to be able to do. That is one of the absolute most valuable and sort of innate talents, I would say, that a leader can have, and it's not really something you can teach. It's something you can guide and show people how to do if they are inclined towards it, of course, just like anything, but it is definitely something that sets the highest quality leaders apart from others, in my experience. So, the Wilders clearly made a good selection in Leica. When people spoke with Leica and listened to her encouraging words, they often had epiphanies, discovering strengths in themselves they had never known before. After coming to know Leica, anyone could find their calling. After coming to know Leica, anyone could find their calling. For the gifts she kindled in her people, she became a beloved figure almost at once. Along with the trust of the people, however, Leica had also won the stars' blessing. One quiet night, when Leica was resting briefly next to a calm lake deep in the forest, something happened that defied belief. A brilliant light moved across the sky. Leica watched it trace a white scratch in the darkness and took it simply for a falling star. Appreciating its simple beauty. Oh, I see. Leica watched it trace a white scratch in the darkness and took it simply for a falling star, appreciating its simple beauty, but it didn't wink out. In fact, it seemed to be growing closer. It continued in this way until it looked like it would almost smash into the water, devastating everything around it. Somehow, though, Leica knew it wouldn't. She felt a calm reassurance wash through her, and stood slowly to greet the light. As it neared the surface of the lake, it slowed and stopped just above the water, bathing the surrounding trees in bleary-eyed, blinking faces of curious onlookers in a brilliant, silvery light. As the light began to dim, a form became visible, standing on, but not disturbing, the lake surface. The surface of the water. A robust yet graceful white hind stood, looking toward Laika. It moved soundlessly toward her edge of the shore, holding in its mouth a long, curving bow. It reached Laika's side and raised up take the bow. When she took it, the deer lowered its head and shoulders slightly, indicating for her to mount up. The old sages gathered. They all knew what they would discuss today. The prophecy. It was said that when the forest was enshrouded by evil, the stars would manifest in the form of a pure and holy sigil. The sigil would seek out a worthy hero, and together they would drive the evil away from their beloved home. Laika, already devoted to her cause, was now filled with a conviction beyond what she had thought possible. She was no longer simply Laika of the Wilders, or Laika, First Ranger of the Dusk Watch. She had been chosen by the stars themselves to see her purpose through, and the only thing that would be impossible would be accepting defeat. When you're lost, look up to the stars for guidance. And I think we should go straight into Awoken Laika, if anyone is interested. In fact, oh no, I bet it's not. Is it in game yet? Let's find out. Oh gosh, I hope so, but I think maybe we're no, because we're still at. Hold on. Yeah, it's not in yet. Oh. Each of their awakening stories is being re-added to the book, but hers is not in there yet. Where you can actually experience the story and battle it out. That's all right. We should still read it. Laika's room. Her downy bed. This is where Laika can totally forget about her worldly responsibilities and relax herself. Under a clear night sky, a snow-white doe transformed from the astral soul lies by the bed to accompany her in sleep. Family portrait. Oh, look! It's a Lorsan-looking guy. Oh! It is Lorsan. Look, Laika and her younger brother Lorsan were inseparable until they had the world's hopes and responsibilities thrusted onto their shoulders. Since then, they have been mostly apart from one another. Even so, this portrait always reminds Laika of all the warm memories they once shared. Oak table. This is where Leica and her friends savor their afternoon tea every day before she becomes a commander. Since then, it has been a place where she takes care of her paperwork. She has given up many opportunities of gathering with her friends in the pursuit of becoming an excellent commander. Even late at night, she can often be seen toiling away at her desk. Me too, girl. God, we have a lot in common. All right. As the leader of the Dusk Patrollers, Leica encountered an extraordinary trial. Her bond with the sky weakened, and the starry power she relied on vanished. Enveloped by darkness, taunting jeers and hushed murmurs converged as if planned from the start. Enveloped by darkness, taunting jeers and hushed murmurs converged as if planned from the start.
Without the power of the stars, how can she possibly be a commander?
Just give up already! Let someone more capable assume command! Amidst this dark illusion, the more Leica struggled to flee, the louder the mockery resonated. Whispers from all sides entangled her, like muddy tendrils crawling up her body, pulling her towards the abyss. Not too long ago, a foreboding meteor crashed into the heart of the dark forest. It ignited an evil blaze, acting as a portal for the Hypogeans to invade. Oh, wow. So the Hypogeans crashed right down into the middle of the dark forest. Not too long ago, a foreboding meteor crashed into the heart of the dark forest. It ignited an evil blaze, acting as a portal for the Hypogeans to invade. The clanspeople's minds were also ensnared by the shadows. On her spirit deer, the astral spirit, like a skillfully threaded through lakeside thickets. Her objective was to rendezvous with Dusk Patrollers on their mission to locate the Void Fragment. Unbeknownst to her, a sinister aura concealed within the thickets seized her mount's galloping hooves with malevolent force. Leica tumbled, and the inky darkness consumed her. In the blink of an eye, her spirit deer vanished without a trace. Alone in the boundless darkness, Leica ran with all her might, desperately shaking off the constraints that ensnared her. Yet, no matter what she did, the darkness remained an ever-present shadow. Gradually, she slowed her steps, the faces of every clan member in the forest flashing through her mind. Leica had always felt that it was her power granted by the stars that allowed her to thrive on the battlefield, repelling the Hypogean threat. Now, with that power taken from her, even if she escaped this ordeal, she dreaded facing the hopeful eyes of her clan members. Could she still lead as their commander, protecting kith and kin? Will I be left with nothing once I've lost the power of the stars? Leica whispered, darkness slowly spreading across her face. In a fleeting moment, she remembered the counsel given to her by the forest sage when she was first graced by the presence of the star spirit.
My child, amidst the dazzling starlight, you must see your path clearly.
At that time, she had interpreted those words as needing to rely on the stars and their power to earn her clan's trust, a requirement for becoming a leader of her people. Yet, long before the arrival of the star spirit, she had already embraced the role of commander. To live up to this duty, she trained tirelessly, adapting tactics based on the strengths of each dusk patroller, intent on unleashing their potential in battle. This way, she could ensure the survival even in the face of the mightiest foes. It wasn't her magical powers that won her the trust of her companions, but rather her skill in uniting and guiding them to victory against all else. As the meteor struck the dark forest, Leica swiftly delegated tasks to her men, from controlling the fire and repelling Hypogeans to caring for wounded comrades, and their actions, directed by her, were swift and precise. Their coordinated efforts dispelled the forest's encroaching darkness. Even if I don't possess the power to light up the sky, I can still lead everyone towards where the light shines. Leica's eyes snapped open, her voice resolute as she tore apart the muddy restraints closing in on her. The severed bond with the star spirit appeared to rekindle, with each resounding heartbeat within her chest. The darkness retreated, replaced by thick mist as the Hypogean revealed its colossal, single eye. The illusion it had woven shattered, and a snow-white doe materialized. It landed beside Leica with grace, tenderly tending to her injuries. The radiant aura of the doe scattered the darkness in every direction. Enveloped by the soft radiance emitted by the star spirit, Leica's eyes turned resolute and unshakable. I won't depend solely on the power of the stars any longer. Now, I'll take the first step on the path I've chosen for myself. Cries of agony, furious roars, and mournful howls burst forth from the Hypogean's mist-like body. Its black tendrils surged toward Leica, attempting to bind her once more.
Don't delude yourself. You will save no one. These lands are destined for darkness. Only destruction awaits.
Several stars heeded Leica's call, descending with long trails trailing behind them from the shattered rifts. In Leica's hands, they converged onto a massive bow. I am the commander of the Dusk Patrollers. She pulled back the longbow, and a powerful beam of starlight gathered at the arrow's tip. When one loses their light, I shall be the Dawnbringer that offers them hope. A brilliant light pierced the ominous aura of the void fragment, erupting from the lake's center and lingering in the sky for a shining moment. The darkness receded, replaced by gentle starlight that embraced the lake's surface, casting a glow rippling outward. In the forest, those to whom Leica had assigned tasks remained dedicated to halting the disaster's advance, finding inspiration in one another's efforts. On the horizon, as the fierce fire ebbed, the first light of dawn had appeared.
world. Starlight will hunt down the villains of this world. Starlight will... The stars will bless those who fight for justice. Dear stars, answer my call. Aid me in scattering the darkness.
Oops. Whoops.
The stars will bless those who fight for justice.
Ticklish? It's all right. Today, we fight together once more. Ticklish? It's all right.
Okay, who's got Wilder's questions before we leave it here? I think that was a pretty fun trip through Wilderdom. There's a lot of overlap with what I did during the Ulmus story a couple weeks ago. So if you enjoyed this stuff today, check out the Ulmus episode from, I think, 3 weeks ago, where we did Ulmus and Tassi and Arden, all of whom are like core members of what the Wilders and the Dark Forest are, really. So, coming very soon will be information about next season. And as soon as it drops, we will do our best to guide everybody through all the backstories of all the information about what's going to be coming up. And in the meantime, this week, one more time, let me tell you guys to look out for the world history of Esperia that will be out this week. I had set a personal deadline by August, and whether it's out that day or not on the 31st this week, it absolutely, I have a hard deadline of the 1 week after that, which is the release of Journey worldwide. It's going worldwide on August 8th. So I believe this week, but definitely in the next two, we'll get the full world history of Esperia out to you guys, which has been a labor of love, as I've said. It's I've been working on visuals for it, so I do think Graveborn is where we're going to end up with the next expansion. I agree, Triv, but we don't know yet. It's still under wraps. So when I know more, you'll know more. And one more time, if you guys aren't on the DangerGrey Discord, it is the home away from home for Esperian lore fans, which is linked at the bottom of this on YouTube or on Discord. If you click on this link right here. I had fun. I hope you did. Let me know what else you'd like to see for next week's episode of the Esperia Chronicles, right there at the DangerGrey Disco, where you will find our mascot Lorsan doing his thing at all times. Analytica forever. If you are looking for a guild in AFK Arena, Defaced Guild has just recently had an opening. We've had some retirements, and we are looking to merge with another guild. We have about 10 or 15 spots that are free right now. So I was looking for a merger with another small guild, maybe that's you know, a lot of guilds are, you know, eventually they die. And we would welcome a group to come in and join us here at Defaced. We have always gone up and up and up in the Abyssal Expedition. Every single season we've ranked higher. We are mostly veteran players. This season, let's see how we are looking. 133rd, which would be a step up because in season 12 we finished 146th on AE. So it looks like we are still headed up, which is wonderful considering our like I said, departures. We've had a lot of retirements. We've never had someone leave either. So if you like AFK Arena, if you've played for a long time especially, we are mostly veteran low spenders from free players like myself. We've got at least 8 members that were here when I joined 4 years ago. So it's definitely got it's a group of people you can count on to show up every day, to pay attention in raids, and it's real chill, fun, mature. So that's my pitch. We're looking for members. If you think that could be you, hit me up. DMs on anytime you guys have questions about anything, please, fans, friends, hit me up on Discord. It's at DangerGrey on Discord. It's the best way to reach me, because I am a busy man. So thank you guys so much, and until next time, stay safe, Esperians.
Alongside me.
It seems a bug hath intruded upon mine garden.
I hear. I'm sorry.
Oh, just in
Please,
time,
not one of
Eomir
my
lover
strengths.
rolling in at the end. Hey, buddy. One more time, let's hear it for CJ for the thumbnail art. I think you might see his work again.
Hear my.
I expect you might see his work again on my thumbnails if he'll let me do it. Because I really like the vibe of it. I think it's pretty great for this. So thank you again, CJ. And I'll link your YouTube on the info for this stream. All right, take care, guys.